everyone, welcome back to another Temple of Geek Who review. I'm Doc in the Box, reviewing Series 11, Episode 5, The Tsuranga Conundrum, once again written by Chris Chibnall. Our new showrunner has written a great majority of these episodes this season, and it's really good for him to throw his foundation out there and show us exactly where he's coming from. Good or bad, it's really good for him to put himself out there and not hand stuff out. Because we all know that guest writers and other writers come in to help out with the showrunner. This episode, again, I can't say was one of my favorite episodes. There were a couple things that just didn't hit me as well. It wasn't a horrible episode. It wasn't a bad episode, but it didn't captivate me too much. And I'm starting to get that with a number of these episodes, unfortunately. But let's go over some of the reasons why I wasn't captivated, and also some of the reasons that it was a good episode. We're starting off with our heroes on this trash planet. They're searching for these devices, not sure exactly what, and it just seemed like a forced plot point. It seemed like Chibnall wanted to get the TARDIS team away from the TARDIS and wanted the Doctor to be stranded. Didn't know exactly how to do that, so put them on this planet searching for these things and ended up finding the sonic device that injured them, and they got rescued by this medical space station, spaceship or whatnot. It really just seemed like a forced plot point because it felt like he wanted them to be away from the TARDIS and he wanted the Doctor to be injured and vulnerable in some capacity. It seemed like a very rookie mistake. It felt like the Doctor should have known or should have been able to scan for these devices, or known like, hey, you know, these things are here, we need to look out for them, and accidentally running into them. But it just felt like it was very rookie for the Doctor to be surprised, like, oh my gosh, there's this booby trap, I'm sorry, we have 3 seconds before it goes off. Moving on to the spaceship, it was really weird to me that the Doctor has been saved by medical devices through the series. They've been in the vacuum of space. They had the Medipods because someone randomly came about them and rescued them. And same thing here. They ended up being picked up by this emergency hospital spaceship that pulled them in and started helping them. Specifically this instance, I was surprised that there were no regenerative, not abilities, but that it didn't spark part of the Doctor's regeneration, because it seems like the Doctor was significantly injured, specifically because the Doctor was still walking around in agonizing pain. It seemed like this would be something that would start the process, but the Doctor would fight it off. Didn't happen. I thought it was weird, but I wouldn't expect the Doctor to regenerate this early into their tenure in the first place. I just thought it was weird that the Doctor was injured so bad but didn't spark that type of response from her own biology. I thought it was weird also because the Doctor was limping around, was in pain, was agonizing, but about somewhere halfway through the episode, it seemed like she just forgot about it. It was no longer an issue. I don't know if she healed. They didn't really address that, but about halfway through, the Doctor's pain just went away into the plot, and we didn't hear about her being uncomfortable or upset or hurting at all thereafter. Moving on to the medical staff, this Astos character, I really liked him. I liked how the Doctor was put in her place by Astos, because the Doctor was wrapped up with her ship. All Doctors want their TARDIS. All Doctors need to get it back. It's homesick. It's panic. It's, oh my gosh, like, you can't take this away from me. It's basically what the only thing the Doctor has. It's the only constant in the Doctor's life. But Astos has to remind the Doctor, this is a medical spaceship. We are getting people who need medical attention to where they need to be. This is not about you. You need to stop this. Do not turn this around, because you are going to put them in jeopardy. And I really liked that whole point of that, the whole interaction between Astos and the Doctor. And it kind of felt like 12 and Clara. The bickering with the companion telling the Doctor what's right and what to do, and the Doctor being like, I don't like to be told what to do. And it felt reminiscent of that to me. And of course we lost Astos, and I'm sad for that, but you know, we don't always get to keep the people that we like in the supporting cast. moving on to that, as far as the thing that attacked the ship, you come to find out that it's... I mean, I've seen it other places. It was the first thing that I saw. I wasn't too much of a fan. Like, the second you saw it, it looked like Experiment 626. I mean, it literally looked like they ripped off Stitch from Disney. And there was nothing specifically wrong with the character. It was cute. It was adorable. It was dangerous. They overpowered it like it can't be destroyed. It doesn't need air. It can eat anything, it can survive anything, you can't touch it, but the overall story of it was it just was hungry and it saw them in space and it went for them to eat. Another kind of like last episode with the arachnids, there wasn't really any type of danger with it. Yeah, they were put in jeopardy because they were on the ship that was attacking, but it was really just hungry in the middle of space, and it wanted the energy off of the spaceship. Moving on to some of the other casts, everyone on this spaceship had a purpose. Astos had a purpose, even though he died. The other medic, I forgot her name, but the other female medic had a purpose. The pilot, her brother, the companions. Even the man who was pregnant, he was there for what's the word I'm looking for? But not preservation of life, but the value of life. The fact that he helped Ryan's character development in reflecting on him and his father, realizing that we need to not just save us, we need to save a new life that's coming into the world. There's purpose for every single character in this episode, but I struggled to find out what the purpose of the android was. I saw him as a meaningless, useless character, and I'm sorry to the man who acted as that character, because you know what? You did a great job. You portrayed an android perfectly. Like, there was nothing wrong with your performance. It was just the way it was written. Like, there was no reason that character was there. There was one point where you thought that, okay, this is where he steps in because he can touch the pating, and he's not injured because nobody else can touch the pating. So him and Yaz are trying to, not the warp core, I forget specifically what it's called, but we'll just say the warp core for now. The particle accelerator. They're protecting the particle accelerator, and Yaz and the android stun the pating. But then Yaz goes over and grabs the pating in the blanket and takes it off and punts it like a football. And the android's like, hurry up, it's only stunned for a limited time. But what was the purpose of the android being there then? Because the whole reason that the ship captain, the flight pilot, left the android there was because he couldn't be injured by touching the pating if there was a potential threat. So it really, I don't really know. I didn't feel like he was written in and they didn't do anything with him, because almost in every story of Doctor Who or any story in any television show, you almost have a reason for a character being there, or they have a purpose, whether it's for character development or self-reflection or for the plot or just some type of ambience in the background that helps continue the story or make the story more compelling. I didn't feel like he was anything to this entire plot or this story, and I could be wrong. Someone might be able to clue me into some things that I missed, but personally for me, I didn't feel it with him. The male pregnancy guy, I thought was funny. I thought was interesting. I am really interested to that there are so many humanoid looking aliens in this series. Almost everyone they run into has looked human, even though they've been a different species, and we've run into this in almost every single episode of Series 11 so far in one form or another. So I'm kind of wondering if they didn't know what to do as far as design, or they just assumed that most aliens look human. There might have been a lot more in previous seasons that I'm not thinking of. I'm just noticing it a lot right now. Probably because I know that Chibnall was not reusing any old aliens or any old bad guys and creating a whole new array of villains and different species, but a lot of them have just looked like normal human beings like you and I. So I'm kind of a little let down by that, but then again, it could be budgetary as well. They might not have the money to put into the special effects and things when they're putting it into things like music and sets and other things. And that could be the background of it, and I'm just someone watching who doesn't understand that aspect, but who knows? That could be the case. I really did like the part with Ryan where he did reflect on his father, and he did kind of wonder maybe this was where he was coming from. Maybe this is why he wasn't there, and I never realized that it might have that type of impact on a person. It doesn't make it okay. It doesn't validate it for him, but it does give him a little insight as to what might happen, because sometimes, even though people are bad, sometimes there's not always a bad reason why they're doing things. So maybe, potentially, Ryan's father thought he would be better off without him, or maybe it hurt him too much because he looked so much like his mother. I don't know, I liked the whole exploration on that, and I enjoyed that part of the episode. I also did like the brother and sister aspect of the pilot and the engineer. Sorry, I can't remember their names off the top of my head right now, but I did like that he cared for her so much, and at the end they got to tell each other that they loved each other and pay their respects before she unfortunately passed away because she had the pilot's heart. But again, those two characters were there specifically to help drive the plot. She was able to fly the ship. He was able to create the rig for her to fly the ship and continue to fly the ship and get them where they needed to go. And as far as other characters, Yaz was there. She didn't really do actually too much this episode. She kind of just was along for the ride, I felt. Even Graham had a point where he was speaking with the brother saying, hey, maybe she's hiding medical reasons for a reason. We don't always tell our loved ones the bad things because there might be some purpose for it. When he was trying to console him, the brother looking at the medical records. Overall, I don't know. I liked the idea of the episode. The episode concept itself wasn't bad. I think I didn't like some of the execution on it. I will admit that at the beginning when the pating, when you didn't know what it was, when it was attacking the life pods, I thought maybe it was either trying to get rid of their escape. It didn't want them to go away. And later, I thought maybe that it was that it didn't want to be evacuated again. I thought that previously maybe it was in space because another ship had lured it into an escape pod and ejected it into space, and it just didn't want to be ejected into space again. Wasn't the case. They still ejected it into space and sent it off on its way, but it wasn't without the Doctor. Actually, it was kind of a happy ending if you think about it. The Doctor took the little bomb thing from the particle accelerator, lured it in there, fed it for who knows how long. It looked like it was happy as it was passing out from its central food coma, and it looked like it was pleased. It looked like it was a happy ending as it was hurled off into space, and who knows where it'll end up from here on out. I also actually I'm skipping around a lot, but the particle accelerator part, the part with the Doctor, where the Doctor is fascinated by it, how she breaks it down and talks about it and loves it both conceptually and actually. I thought that was a really, really good moment for the Doctor and any Doctor in general, because it's you don't always see the Doctor enamored by something. I used to really admire when the 10th Doctor would come across a new species and say how beautiful it was, and it was reminiscent of that to me. I really like that part of the Doctor. I like the Doctor exploring things and loving things, and it's not always bad. It's always there's always something beautiful to it, and I enjoy that. But overall, I don't know how I felt about this episode. It wasn't the greatest episode, but I wasn't amped after it either. It was just kind of an episode that you watch, and after it you're like, okay, well, we have next episode. So that's how it felt to me. Oh, sorry, going back. I didn't understand the doctor's sonic. So the pating, she goes to scan it. She does the overextension as always. I don't like her overextension. Please stop the overextension. But the fully extended arm for every time she uses the sonic is unnecessary to me. But I guess that's Jodie's thing. I'm not sure if that's a director thing or if it's her thing. But it's a very dynamic pose every time she uses a sonic. Anyway, she uses the sonic on the pating, and the pating eats the sonic, but spits it out. I mean, yeah, it absorbed the energy, but why did it spit it out? Just before that, it literally ate a piece of junk from the ship that had no energy whatsoever. So I don't know if that was another plot hole thing where it's like, I don't know why she got it back. Maybe it doesn't like Sheffield steel. It's not a fan of spoons, apparently. I don't know. But I thought that was weird, but whatever. We have the Doctor, we have the Sonic back, and of course, Doctor can't lose their Sonic again. Unless they want to market more Sonic screwdrivers because she builds another one. Anyway, so overall, I didn't feel like this episode was everything. I hate to say that I'm being let down by this season, but right now, storyline wise, I don't feel like everything is there. Nothing is connecting, nothing is jiving. We don't have an overall arc just yet. Nothing has pulled us in. I don't know. There's nothing wrong with the actors. There's nothing wrong with their performances. They're all doing their job. They're all doing what they can. But I am personally feeling probably how a lot of people felt in the beginning of the Capaldi era in Series 8, where they just didn't feel like there were enough stories to pull them in. I'm still in this for the long haul. I still enjoy Doctor Who. I love seeing it every week. Every week I'm interested and want another story. So I'm here for everything, but I'm just I can't say that I'm fully invested in the season just yet. So we'll find out. They're still trying to get everything together. It's their first season, their first time Chibnall's running something this massive. I know he's been a writer before, but Doctor Who is something that's huge. So no matter who took over after Moffat, they were going to have a heavy mantle to carry, if that's the correct wording. So we'll see where it goes. We'll see what happens, and I'm still excited to see what happens next. The next episode, I forget the name of it. I think it's Demons of something. I'm sorry, I honestly forgot the name. But it seems to be focused completely around Yaz. It's another on-Earth story that involves, at least in their storyline, involves real people. There might be real effects of things that they do in the past, and I'm looking forward to that. So we'll see what happens. But you know what? Who knows? Everything might click together. It might be like Series 4 with Donna and Tan, and the bees leaving Earth might be a huge clue to the end of the season. I don't know. That's what I'm hoping for, and we'll see what happens. Thank you guys again. If you enjoy these, please hit those likes and subscribes. Comment below. Please tell me what you think. I'm not the only one in this. We're all in this together, and I enjoy hearing what you guys had to say about each episode and your theories on what might be coming next. So comment below, and we'll see you next week for the next episode. See you next time. Oh, okay, so one last thing. If Graham doesn't get his fist bump by the end of the season, so help me, I'm gonna fly to the UK and do it myself. Seriously though. See you guys.
Like this video? Go ahead and hit that like button. And while you're there, go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos that are released by Temple of Geek. Also, head over to templeofgeek.com to find all sorts of content related to the world of geek.